I'm recording this episode in a hotel room in Ann Arbor, Michigan. Full disclosure, it's late. I'm tired and I just walked around the riverfront and I have blisters on the bottom of my feet, but I am determined to record an episode before I pass out. And tell you what I ate last week. Okay, so last week was September 1st, 2025, which was a Monday, which was Labor Day. I have a few things. Well, I don't know why, but this past week I didn't write. I usually write down topics I want to talk about. That didn't really happen this week. But I have two things. One is the Syrian goat horn pepper. These are really coming in our field, in our garden. We got them from Commonwealth seed growers. If you live in the Mid-Atlantic or the South, it is a great place to buy seeds that are going to do well in your area. When we were trying to grow pumpkins and winter squash, we kept encountering a lot of mildew issues, downy mildew. I mean, our entire crops would fail and die. We're not spraying anything. And even if we did spray something that was organic certified, they wouldn't make it. This, Commonwealth seed growers, they specialize in, at least for pumpkins and winter squash varietals, that will be able to deal with those disease pressures in our area, in my area. So definitely recommend it, even if you don't live in the area. Check out what they have. So we have got this Syrian goat horn hot pepper seed from them. They are a beautiful red chili pepper. They're kind of like the perfect chilies. They make me think of Chili's, the restaurant, when I see them. At least the ones that we're growing. The picture of them on the website, they're a little bit more long and twisted, like a Jimmy Nardello pepper, which is, if you've worked in a restaurant in the last 6 years, you're going to know what a Jimmy Nardello pepper is. So popular with restaurants. Yeah, actually, this website is saying that they grow 7 to 9 inches long, which is not the case. I mean, we haven't been irrigating our peppers. We've just been letting them grow as an experiment. They've actually been doing fabulously. We've never had peppers grow like this. So maybe we just got lucky with the weather. I mean, the peppers are beautiful, pristine, but I mean, maybe we're growing the wrong pepper seed, because these peppers don't look anything like what I'm looking at on the internet. So maybe I need to do a little bit more research, or I'm thinking they just didn't get enough water, so they're just smaller. Anyway, so I guess these seeds are originally from Baker Creek. They discontinued it. Baker Creek got the seeds from a Syrian seed saver, and now Commonwealth Seeds has taken on the growing and the continuation of the seed. It says they look like cayenne peppers, but a good bit larger. Yeah, maybe I'm growing the wrong one. So I haven't tried them yet, but this website recommends them dried and ground, like pepper flakes. It's kind of hard to dry peppers in the South, unless you have without them molding, but unless you have a dehydrator. Okay. So yeah, I might need to look into that, because I'm probably growing the wrong pepper. But they don't have a lot of other pepper seeds on their website. It might be an irrigation thing. Okay. Anyway, the only other thing that I had to mention was I saw a person on TikTok. Her username was Beamy Queen, saying that she's able to tell the difference between someone from the East Coast versus the West Coast based on whether or not you're ready to order in line when it's your turn. And I thought this was so true. I mean, I don't know if, that's not fair to say. So her point was, if you're standing in line at a coffee shop and when it's your turn, you know exactly what to say and you get your order out quickly, you're from the East Coast. If you get up to the front of the line, you're like, yeah, and you just start looking at the menu or you start asking questions, you're from the West Coast. And as someone who, and you know, all of my formative ordering things on my own experiences as a teenager and young adult were on the East Coast and in New York. High volume, fast paced, get your order out. Don't waste time asking the person behind the counter how they are, how's your day going. They don't want to tell you that. They don't want everybody in line asking them that. Just tell them what you want. Be nice about it. Be sweet and polite. But that's how I learned how to order. You got to be quick. Make it snappy. So, you know, learning how to order like that and then traveling to outside places. I remember traveling to Michigan early on and being so confused when I went to order a coffee somewhere, and the slowness of the interaction, no urgency, the complete lack of urgency about everything. I mean, it took like 20 minutes to get a cup of coffee, and I mean, generally things are a lot slower outside of New York. That's not always the case, but I think that I've found it difficult to know whether or not to behave that way, or like, I don't know how to order things anymore. I don't know. You know, you want to say, hey, how's it going? But you know that they don't want to answer that question 400 times a day. Do you know what I mean? So it feels empty. And I don't want to force them to tell me how they're doing. But I also don't just want to rudely give them my order when I don't know. I don't know how to order. If you are in the service industry, let me know. Would you prefer to have every single person in line say, hey, how are you doing? I mean, maybe it's nice, but maybe it's high volume enough that you're like, just tell me what you want. Anyway, that's something I struggle with. You know, it also depends on how crazy busy it is. If there's a huge line, I guess read the room. Okay. Anyway, September 1st, 2025, it was a Monday and it was Labor Day. 8 a.m. Counterculture coffee with half and half made at home. 1 p.m. A sushi tray from Whole Foods with salmon maki, crystal salmon roll, California roll, barbecue shrimp, tempura crunch roll, and salmon nigiri. 4 p.m. A small pour of Paul Dierder, Gruner, Veltliner, and raspberries. 6 p.m. Thai red curry with leftover breakfast sausage, tofu, green beans, Frodo bell peppers, Thai and Italian basil, jasmine rice, and a lemon pepper shrimp skewer made at home. 6:30 p.m. Half a slice of key lime pie from Whole Foods and a scoop of Jeni's powdered jelly donut flavored ice cream. So full disclosure, this was my birthday, and I did have to go to the grocery store anyway, so I made a day of it and went to Whole Foods. Didn't eat anything until my Whole Foods run, and it was so deliriously hungry that I ate a whole sushi tray by myself. They had a back to school special that was a pretty good deal. I don't know. I mean, Whole Foods sushi is not that good. It all has a certain taste to it. And it's somewhere in between. I think when I want sushi, I either want like really, really good quality sushi, or if it's gonna be on the cheaper side, I want it to be the all-out mayonnaise American sushi. And Whole Foods is somewhere in the middle, and it's just not it's not satisfying. And I don't know why I keep spending an obscene amount of money on a sushi tray when I know that it's going to disappoint. So I decided that I'd make a red curry that night because I have a whole vegetable drawer full of green beans that I've picked and I need to use. And I do love a green bean in a curry in a similar way that I like a green bean in a tomato sauce. So I had a little bit of leftover frozen breakfast sausage. A vegetarian curry is nice, but I do think that just a little bit of fat, a little bit of fatty meat goes a long way in a curry. So I fried that in some oil with the curry paste. Used a can of coconut milk. I like the brown can. I forget what it's called, Chowco. Added fish sauce, soy sauce, sugar, vinegar, some curry leaves if I have them. I really need to switch back to the aged soy sauce that I was using because I bought standard, I think a Japanese soy sauce, and it is so salty. I was using this aged Chinese soy sauce forever, and I really just knew how it would taste in recipes, and I just knew how to cook with it. And now that I've switched to something else, my salt balance is off. And bell pepper is always good in a Thai curry. A ton of basil, and there was a huge, I think like every form of shrimp you could imagine being at Whole Foods was on sale that day. I don't know why. So for $5, I got these 2 super long lemon pepper shrimp skewers. And I didn't really have a protein. Well, I guess I put a block of tofu in the curry, which was nice. But, because I didn't really have a meat protein, I got a shrimp skewer to put over each of our bowls. Plus, it's my birthday. And then I decided to get a slice of key lime pie, a slice of chocolate cream pie, a slice of tiramisu, and I always want to get a pint of Jeni's ice cream, but it's so expensive, and I know it's going to all melt by the time I get home, so I never buy it, because, why am I going to spend $9 on melted ice cream? And when you try and refreeze it, it just crystallizes and it tastes like garbage. So I finally broke down, and the weather was a little bit cooler that day. It's a perfect day. So I finally got a pint. My sister raves about the powdered jelly donut flavored ice cream. She says that it's the best ice cream she's ever had. It's good. I think it, maybe the particular pint that I got, the ratio was off. I think it needs more raspberry. The raspberry was great in it, though. It kind of has like a white chocolate raspberry quality to it that actually, you know what it tastes like? Do you know the Entenmann's raspberry Danish? It tastes like that. And that's a very nostalgic flavor to me. The raspberry flavor in particular is it's spot on. And then, so out of all those desserts, split a slice of key lime pie with Brian. And it was, I've had the key lime pie from Whole Foods, I don't know, maybe 5 years ago, and it was great. This was pretty subpar. The curd itself was decent, but the whipped cream tasted off, not in a gone bad way, but it wasn't good, and the crust was not good. yeah, that's what I ate for my birthday. September 2nd, 2025. It was a Tuesday. 8 a.m. Counterculture coffee with half and half made at home. 10:30 a.m. Raspberries and garlic and herb crackers with hummus. 12:30 p.m. A slice of tiramisu from Whole Foods. 6:30 p.m. Roasted pinto gold potatoes, Italian sausage, and jalapenos with leftover white sauce made at home. 7:30 p.m. A scoop of Jeni's powdered jelly donut ice cream. Raspberries are one of my favorite foods, and they were on sale at Whole Foods, so I had to get them for my birthday. So I'm eating raspberries. They were a little underripe, I would say. Which I typically prefer my fruit a little underripe, but not a raspberry. I need the full flavor. And I'm eating those garlic and herb Back to Nature brand crackers, which are really sumptuous. They they can't even pick up the hummus because they're so buttery and flaky, and they just snap in half. I was very much ready to be disappointed by the slice of tiramisu from Whole Foods. It was great. It was a great experience. Oh, you know what? I totally skipped over this. So I didn't actually eat it. I threw it away. But I did need to say the previous evening, after this disappointment of the key lime pie, I thought, let's try the chocolate cream pie. Because I've also had that, and it was good. We had to throw it away. I couldn't figure out what was wrong with it. Made Brian try it. I thought, am I being a brat? No. We think that the chocolate custard component of the pie, we think that they accidentally added flour instead of sugar. It was a very bizarre thing to eat. It tasted, now that I think about it, they definitely added flour instead of sugar. And it was grainy. It was inedible. So, the next day I was fully prepared to be disappointed by tiramisu, but it was good. And roasted potatoes, those were great. With more Neiman Ranch sausage. And I took the seeds out of some of the jalapenos that we grew and roasted those, and they were really good. All right, September 3rd, 2025, it was a Wednesday. 6:30 a.m. Counterculture coffee with half and half, made at home, and a bowl of bran flakes. 10:30 a.m. Leftover Thai curry with jasmine rice and a cup of coffee at the office. 5 p.m. A glass of Paul Dredder Gruner Veltliner. 6 p.m. Frozen cheese pizza and romaine lettuce with Parmesan and creamy Caesar dressing made at home. 7 p.m. Bluebell cookie two-step ice cream. Okay, I need to stop buying German beers because I never know how to pronounce them. And it's pretty embarrassing. Frozen cheese pizza. It is funny that, and spoiler alert, I'm going to eat another slice of cheese pizza this week before this episode is over. I had this frozen cheese pizza and thought, wow, how simple and good is a plain slice of cheese when it's good. When the pizza's mediocre, cheese is the worst, and the toppings make it better. When it's a solid, cheesy slice, so simple, and toppings would distract. And you forget that, I think, when you're an adult, and you forget that you can order pizza without toppings. It seems like a food for children, but it is really good. And I know that your phone doesn't actually listen to you because that Reply All podcast debunked that myth, but technology has changed a lot since then, so who knows what's happening. But I was telling Brian this. I was like, there is nothing like a slice of cheese pizza. Went on TikTok a few hours later, someone came on my feed and said, there is nothing like a simple slice of cheese pizza. It's a little too weird. It's a little too on the nose. I also wonder, like, I'm typing, like, often things that I Google. Obviously, my Google algorithm is tied to my TikTok algorithm, cookies, it's all connected. So a lot of things I'll Google are showing up on my TikTok algorithm. So I almost wonder, obviously my Google Drive is a part of that. The privacy is pretty lax. So I'm typing my food log into Google Drive, and I'm typing that I'm eating cheese pizza, and I'm wondering if that is also feeding my TikTok algorithm. It knows that I'm eating cheese pizza. It knows what I'm eating. Okay. September 4th, 2025, it was a Thursday. 7:30 a.m., counterculture coffee with half and half made at home. 10 a.m., garlic and herb crackers with hummus. 4 p.m., a small pour of Paul Dereder Gruner Veltliner and a few cashews. 6 p.m., tonkatsu with bulldog sauce and fried rice with onion, Frodo bell peppers, chives, and scrambled egg made at home. 7 p.m., Bluebell cookie two-step ice cream. Yeah, so went to Sam's Club a few months ago and got a giant pork loin that I cannot for the life of me get through. So occasionally I am forced to make tonkatsu. I have these frozen, I cut it up into proper pieces and bag them 5 to 6 pieces in a bag. And I'll make 5 if you're gonna set out the 3 plates and bread things for frying with the flour and the egg and the panko, I'm not just gonna make 2, I'm gonna make 6. It's a lot of work. You gotta heat up all that oil. I'm gonna fry big. I used panko for this tonkatsu. I had been using a mix of panko and the more fine Italian breadcrumbs to sort of fill in the gaps, but and I didn't use egg. I do like to use it's the same thing. I use mayonnaise and I water it down with a little bit of milk or water and some mustard sometimes, instead of I'll do an egg sometimes, but if I'm running low on eggs and I'd rather have an egg for breakfast, I'll water down some mayonnaise as the middle component of the breading system. And I had this quart of leftover rice, which I'll usually just serve tonkatsu with, reheat the rice, the white rice. But I have all these vegetables I need to use up, so I'm incorporating them into a fried rice. Yep. Okay. September 5th, 2025, it was a Friday. 7 a.m., counterculture coffee with half and half made at home, and a bowl of bran flakes with milk. 7:30 a.m., a cup of coffee with half and half at the office. 12:30 p.m., a slice of cheese pizza from Whole Foods. 5:30 p.m., a double bacon cheeseburger and cheese curds from Cookout in Oxford, North Carolina. 7:30 p.m., tiramisu from Whole Foods. Okay. I unexpectedly had to go into the office this day to, I don't know what year it is, but I had to go in and make sure that the Ethernet cord in my office worked, which felt like a bizarre experience. Very bizarre thing to do in 2025. The office has Wi-Fi, but, sometimes, I don't know. Didn't even know that Ethernet cord still existed. So went to the office to do that, and I left pretty early because I had meetings the rest of the day, and I didn't want to be stuck in rush hour traffic. You know, my commute's already an hour. I don't need to be making it longer by commuting at the worst time of the day. So I stopped at Whole Foods on the way home for grab some lunch. And they have pretty good deals at the Whole Foods on Fridays. They have some sales. I didn't really take advantage of the sales because, you know, I'm at this stage in the week, I'm about to go out of town. I don't want to buy a bunch of stuff. And I had just gone to the grocery store on that week already. I'd gone to Whole Foods already. So anyway, I did get a big slice of cheese pizza because I thought that frozen cheese pizza was good. Let me test that theory. Let me tell you, this slice of cheese pizza was like cartoon movie, 90s movie pizza. You know what I'm talking about. Doug, the Goofy movie, Ninja Turtles, that super cheesy pizza. It has brown spots all over it, and it was a little bit congealed. I think that's when cheese pizza is the best. It's not good when it's hot. It needs to be cooled down a little, warm, congealed. Something about the grease, the way the grease tastes against the congealed cheese. Yeah. I do not know why we went to Cookout for dinner. I guess I was lazy. I didn't want to cook anything. And I also haven't been going to Cookout all that often. There was a time when I was going on Fridays. It became a little bit of a habit. So sometimes you just got to go to Cookout. Why did I go to Cookout? I can't remember. I mean, it was like Brian's last day at his job. You know, he's starting a new one. So I thought, let's celebrate. He got off work early. Anyway, while I was at Whole Foods on Fridays, one of the special deals, actually, I take it back. I did take advantage of one of the deals that I saw. On Fridays, you can get a family-sized tiramisu or tres leches cake for $10. So I did, and I got the tiramisu because it was so good. So I ate some of that at 7:30 p.m. Okay. Actually, the tiramisu, it started tasting weird. What did it taste like? Brian thought it tasted like ham. I thought it tasted like weed. So was it good? I don't know. Yes. But not as good as the time I just got a single slice. And I ate it on my porch in the middle of the day for lunch. On a perfect breezy, shady afternoon. And I thought, this is the perfect lunch. I thought ice cream was the perfect lunch. Tiramisu is the perfect lunch. It literally means pick me up. Speaking of tiramisu, if you haven't listened to the most recent or the second most recent episode of the Arthur Schwartz podcast, he talks about being around for the invention of tiramisu, which I thought was interesting. I mean, I knew it was a more modern Italian thing, like ciabatta, but Arthur Schwartz talks about how he was visiting friends. Oh, he also talks a lot about penne alla vodka and how that's a more modern Italian invention. I mean, Italian-American, and how that came about. Anyway, he remembers visiting friends in Italy, and in the afternoon when they were a little bit sleepy, the host they would stay with, she would take out some old pound cake, some stale pound cake, and cut a slice and put it on a plate for you, pour some espresso over the pound cake, and whip up some whipped cream really quickly with a little bit of sugar and some just whipped cream. It's a little bit soft, and put that over the top, and that was the original tiramisu. And he talks, there was another variant that he talked about, I think in Tuscany or Sicily, that he had that was orange based, like an orange flavored tiramisu, but it was called something else. I can't remember now, but I have seen on TikTok maybe a couple years ago people making like a tiramisu, but it's like lemon, almost like a lemon curd variant, which I think would be the ultimate dessert. And I have no idea why I haven't made that. I made a tiramisu once. It was okay. I think I was a little too heavy-handed with the liquor, and it was very strong. I got a Calabrian chili amaro that was made by a pizza place in Durham I think it's called Los Toros. I don't remember what it's called. Toros? Anyway, they're a pizza place, and they did this collaboration with somebody and made a Calabrian chili amaro that was pretty good. But yeah, I was a little heavy-handed. Okay. September 6, 2025, it was a Saturday. 8:30 a.m., counterculture coffee with half and half, and scrambled eggs over roasted potatoes with rosemary, Frodo bell peppers, and onion made at home. 1 p.m., popcorn at Leith Honda in Raleigh, North Carolina. 4 p.m., papaya salad with shrimp, pork, fried garlic, and puffed rice crackers, and chicken curry with rice at Pho Far East in Raleigh, North Carolina. 5:30 p.m., a leftover tiramisu. 6:30 p.m., a glass of Paul Dredger Grüne Veltliner. Thank God I killed that bottle. I actually poured the rest out, so I don't have to say this wine name again. It's good, but it comes in a liter, so it's bigger than a regular wine bottle. It's cheap too, but it's good. But it started to turn a little bit in my fridge after a week. I mean, you're supposed to pour. At that point, I should have poured it into a smaller container, but it's open. It's you can't save it. Okay, so needed to get the oil changed on the Honda, and wanted to look at. I need to get a car, so we decided to take the Honda in to a bigger dealership service station in Raleigh without an appointment. They said it's going to be a 2-hour wait. I said, okay. And 2.5 hours into it, they were like, okay, we're going to start working on your car. Brian gave them the okay to do a brake fluid flush. I don't know anything about cars. He said he gave the okay. Apparently he doesn't know anything about cars either, because we didn't realize that was going to add an additional hour onto our wait time. So we sat in the Leith Honda dealership in Raleigh for close to 4 hours. Thank God they had a popcorn machine in there. So I ate popcorn for 4 hours. Very salty popcorn. And Brian was like, don't worry, it's amazing. They have a machine that makes lattes. And I thought, okay, that could be good. It might be bad, but it could be good. Because the last time Brian had to do this, he went to a different dealership, but they had the same, latte machine. He drank 6 lattes. which is not good. So the first thing we did was go over to the latte machine, and I think Brian probably drank 4 lattes, double lattes. He should be arrested, but he paid for it in other ways with the pain to his body. I don't understand. So, obviously with that machine, it's like the machine you see at a gas station or like a bodega that makes hot chocolate. And it's, who knows if they've ever cleaned it. But you can't really get a drink without sugar in it, and you can't specify whether or not you want the latte to have sugar in it. It's all going to have sugar in it. There's a cappuccino, there's a latte, there's this decaf cappuccino, but it all has sugar in it. So I thought I'll just get black coffee. And I had to dump it down the sink. It tasted like raisins. It tasted like raisin water. Like someone left a raisin in a glass of water out in the sun for 2 days. And then you drank it. You drank it while it was hot from the sun. It was appalling. I tasted the latte, one of the 4 lattes that Brian consumed. And it was just a sugary, milky version of that. It tasted so foul. It tasted like the machine was rotting from the inside out. It tasted like it was fermenting. There was something wrong. I think there's something wrong with Brian. So after that experience, we decided to go out to eat. And we went to Pho Far East in Raleigh, North Carolina, which I was not excited about. I've been there before. I think I got a pho with meatballs, which was a mistake because they're like a hot dog texture. They're very bouncy. Not a fan. I think I've been spoiled by my pho experiences in Chicago. If you want some good pho in Chicago, you can get it anywhere, really. There's just a certain delicate balance of tart and sweet and depth of flavor that I've experienced in having pho in Chicago that I haven't found elsewhere. And I didn't think I liked pho until I started eating pho in Chicago. In particular, I think that the broth at New Lawn Bakery, there are 2 locations in Chicago. They have a fantastic banh mi and they have fantastic pho. Anyway, the broth, and when I'm eating pho, I'm eating the broth and then I'm giving the rest of it to Brian to eat. I don't care about the noodles. It's the broth. Pho Far East, the broth is nothing to write home about. It's better than your average chicken broth, I guess, but it's like, it doesn't have that craveable taste. It's forgettable. It might not even be off-putting. I will say, though, the papaya salad was great. Wonderful. Really fresh. Really beautiful shrimp, really thinly sliced pork, fried garlic, hot, fresh peppers. It was just so decked out. It came with sauce on it, but also on the side, big puffed rice crackers that crackled in the sauce when you dipped it in. It was perfect. It was a perfect papaya salad, in my opinion. And then I made I guess I would go back and get the papaya salad, but at this point I couldn't recommend anything else. So I thought, I know I don't like the pho. Let me get something different. Let me get the chicken curry. No. It was sort of, in my mind, like a Vietnamese, like, yellow curry style. It was way too sweet. The chicken itself were sort of the throwaway rubbery pieces. Some small pieces of potato, some huge pieces of carrot, rice. And then so the rice came on a separate plate. And the main plate was 1/2 curry and then 1/2 raw vegetables, slices of cucumber, slices of pieces of gem lettuce, tomato slices, like a terrible grocery store tomato. Like, why are you putting this on the plate with the curry? It's not even... I did eat the gem lettuce. Also, there was a big pile of cilantro sprinkled over the chicken curry. It was brown and slimy and rotting. I had to take all of it off. So, would I recommend it? No. I believe it's a family that runs the restaurant. Wonderful, sweet, welcoming. They needed to get it together. They do a great papaya salad, though. But the lack of quality with the chicken curry does scare me a little bit overall. Okay, September 7th, 2025, it was a Sunday. Counterculture coffee with half and half made at home. 9 a.m. Frittata made with leftover roasted potatoes and Frodo bell peppers and chives made at home. 2:30 p.m. Tortilla chips with white queso, cottage pie, chicken pot pie, half a glass of Chardonnay, ciabatta with butter, mixed greens with blue cheese ranched, mixed nuts and dried cranberries, and yellow cake with chocolate icing, pecans, and vanilla ice cream at Brian's parents' house. So, about once a month, we have dinner at Brian's parents' house. Whoever's birthday is closest, or whoever's birthday is that month, you get it. We celebrate your birthday. So, Brian's mom asked me, "What do you want?" And I said, whatever is easiest. Spaghetti, chicken pot pie. Because, she'll go to Sam's Club and get a chicken pot pie. They're big. They're good. And I thought, just pick up a chicken pot pie. I don't want you to have to cook or make a spaghetti. She uses the jarred sauce. It's easy. I feel bad. She made a whole aluminum foil tray of chicken pot pie and a huge cottage pie. I felt bad. It felt like she just wanted to make cottage pie, but then made the chicken pot pie because I asked for it. I feel bad about that. She should have just made the cottage pie. And then she asked someone else's birthday is next month. She said, "What do you want?" They said steak. She said, "Thank God, that's easy." I felt bad. I didn't want to demand steak from my in-laws. I didn't want to demand steak dinner. But now that I know that that's the easy option, I will ask for steak. But you never know, because she's in the past been like, "Oh, well, steak's so expensive. Gotta buy steak for everybody." But if it's easy, I don't know. Don't ask me what I want. I want you to make what you want to make. I hate the pressure. When someone invites you over for dinner, it is very kind that she asked me, but I feel bad no matter what, because either I'm asking for you to pick up something pre-made that's expensive, or spend your labor making something. I feel bad either way. It's a coincidence that I was served white queso, which is one of my favorite foods. She didn't know that. but it was a wonderful surprise. The salad was great, actually. And this yellow cake with chocolate icing was phenomenal. Just a simple yellow boxed cake. Can't go wrong. With a thick, light brown chocolate icing. I don't know how she makes it. I know it's from another recipe. I think it's from this chocolate cake recipe that her mom made, and she's borrowing the icing recipe. It must be melted chocolate and sugar and maybe a little cream. I don't know, but it is just, it's like fudge. It's like a fudge. Divine. There's something about the combination of yellow cake and chocolate icing that is really, oh my God. And I know where it's coming from. It is coming from the book. Is it called Go to Bed, Francis? Time for Bed, Francis. Francis Goes to Bed. You know Francis. They're older children's books, black and white drawings. I've referenced them before because in the book Bread and Jam for Francis, her classmate has one of the best packed lunches in book history that she is envious of. Anyway, there is another book, Go to Bed, Francis, Time for Bed, Francis, in which she doesn't want to go to bed. Let me look it up. Francis. Bedtime for Francis. It may be bedtime for Francis, but before Francis can sleep, she needs a glass of milk, a kiss from father, one from mother, her teddy bear, her doll, another kiss from father, and another one from mother. Will Francis ever go to sleep? Love this book. Reminds me of my childhood. I need attention. She's scared of a coat on her chair. The point is, there is a scene in the book where she sneaks out of her room to see what her parents are doing. And her parents are on the couch watching TV, and they are eating vanilla, I think it's black and white, but they are eating what looks to be yellow cake with chocolate frosting. So simple. 2 layers. It looks so delectable. Old-fashioned rounded top. No slicing off anything to make it flat. Rustic, simple cake. Let me see if I can find a picture of it. Bedtime for Francis. Cake. I want to give you the most accurate description that I can. No. And you know what? The way I'm going to be able to find it is to watch a YouTube video. And I don't want to do that right now. Well, hold on. Let me see. There's a YouTube video. Also, you can't just post books on the internet. It is actually copyright infringement. Anyway. Okay. I found the cake. So, it's a picture of the parents on the couch. They're watching the TV. They have a little wooden table in front of them. They have a little cup. Maybe it's a little espresso. Maybe it's a little tiny tea. They have a little plate on the table with a cake. It's not frosted on top. There's just frosting in the middle. The cake looks like a white or a yellow cake, maybe a buttery pound cake, vanilla. And then it has a filling, a brown filling. Now that I look at it, it could be a raspberry jam or another fruit filling in the middle. Maybe like a fig Newton. It's almost, I can taste a fig Newton in my mouth when I look at it. That smooth, bready, golden top and the fig jam in the middle. I don't know what the flavor of the cake is. We may never know. But I do like to imagine that it is yellow cake with chocolate icing. I guess the reason why I'm wondering if it's fruit now is I imagine if you have a simple cake and you want to do a fruit filling, you do put it in the middle, and you're not going to put the fruit filling on top of the cake. But I think classically, if you're going to have a vanilla cake with chocolate icing or frosting, you don't just put it in the middle, you also put it on top. So maybe I've been wrong. Anyway, that is the end of my food log. And I just want to let you know that the half of a glass of Chardonnay that I drank at Brian's parents' house was Josh. The preferred brand of wine from Top Chef. Top Chef sponsor of Top Chef. Beloved sponsor of Top Chef, Josh. Okay, I was drinking this glass of Josh Chardonnay, and I was like, this just tastes like what the nice white wine that I buy when I leave it in the fridge open for too long and there's too much air in the bottle. That's what Josh tastes like. I'm not being paid by Josh to say that. I need to go to bed. Good night.